Semifinal Monday has arrived in Las Vegas at the West Coast Conference Tournament. 5-seed BYU and their NCAA tournament dreams live on behind stars Nani Falatea and one of the country's top power forwards, Lauren Gustin. That road to March Madness goes through top seed Gonzaga, a heavy favorite to cut down the nets in Las Vegas, behind Kaylin Trong and Yvonne Ejim. The Cougars and Zags next on the WCC Network. NCAA women's basketball, a Monday matinee special on semifinal Monday from the WCC tournament in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's the 5-seed BYU Cougars matched up with the top seed and favorite Gonzaga Bulldogs at the Orleans Arena. Here's a look at our updated Ticket Smarter WCC bracket. BYU beat up on 9-seed Pepperdine on Friday, survive a battle with San Francisco in the quarterfinals, and now they have the opportunity to face number 16 nationally ranked Gonzaga. Wherever and however you're connected, great to have you with us as part of our WCC tournament coverage alongside former NCAA women's basketball standout Kristen Kozlowski. I'm Spencer Linton. The rest versus rust conversation is always an interesting one. Gonzaga's had 9 days off. Their last win and game was against this BYU squad those 9 days ago. Kristen, how do you view the rest versus rust convo as it pertains to Gonzaga today?
Well, I think this Gonzaga team is going to come in with fresh legs. That's what you hope if you're Lisa Fortier, right? They're very disciplined. They don't make a lot of mistakes. A lot has happened for this BYU team in those 9 days, Spencer, including 3 games, 2 of which BYU won to place themselves in the semifinals here on Monday. This is a BYU team that needs to come out physical. They need to pound that ball inside to Gustin. To do that, the guards have to come out and hit shots.
The previous 2 games between the Bulldogs and Cougars have been very closely contested. Let's see how BYU got to this point by rewinding to Saturday. As I mentioned, very physical game. So many fouls. BYU had 3 different players foul out, Kristen. The Cougars committed 25 turnovers, but they were able to consistently connect on the 3-point shot. Oh, and throwing 27 rebounds from Lauren Gustin as well.
A new record for the WCC and a tournament record as well for Lauren Gustin. But BYU got it done on the perimeter. They hit 12 out of 23 3-point shots. That's how they were able to pull ahead. They had a huge run in the fourth quarter as well, a 13-0 run in that fourth quarter to give them a big boost.
Lauren Gustin advancing BYU in that big bracket as we take you into our key matchup presented by Nike. Gustin on the left side for BYU, the WCC Player of the Year on the right side for Gonzaga in Kaylin Trong. Now they won't compete against each other exactly on the court with a guard forward, but boy, they mean so much to their respective teams.
Oh, they do a ton for both of these teams. Impact the game in several different areas. For Lauren Gustin, she's the #1 rebounder in the nation. She's setting all kinds of records this season. An all-WCC first-team pick for the 2nd year in a row. She's incredible inside with her ability to score the ball around the rim, but go get every single rebound. She goes hard every single time. It doesn't matter where that shot's being thrown up. She's going hard every single time. A lot of physical presence in there for Lauren Gustin from BYU. #2 in the nation as well with 26 double-doubles for this BYU team.
Kaylin Trong coming into the season was somewhat in the shadow of her twin sister Kaylee Trong. But then with Kaylee Trong going down with an injury, her sister stepped up in a big way.
Absolutely. The 5'9" point guard. She's been the primary playmaker for Gonzaga. Really skilled guard. Playing with a lot of confidence right now. The facilitator playmaker for Gonzaga. She has a lot of freedom out there to go to work on the court. Really good at freezing the defense, changing the pace, and making their correct reach. She's #1 in the WCC in 3-point makes and attempts, and then playing 32 minutes a game or a
All right, our starting lineups now presented by Cal Hope. First for Amber Whiting in her first season as head coach in Provo. 16 wins, 15 losses for BYU at this juncture, including what she's accomplished at the WCC tournament. She will go on the guard line with the usual 3. Nani Falatea, Ariel Mackey-Williams. Mackey-Williams in her own right has been fantastic for BYU thus far. Kaylee Smiler, the defensive specialist, was huge in the win over USF. The aforementioned Lauren Gustin, and how about the sharpshooting Emma Calvert? Gonzaga knows about Calvert, who went for 17 in that loss 9 days ago in Provo. We'll see what BYU can do from the three-point line against a very, very solid and efficient team, both offensively and defensively, in Lisa Fortier's Bulldogs, who will start. Kaylin Trong, Brenna Maxwell, one of the elite three-point shooters in the country. Williams, Hollingsworth, and Yvonne Ejim is somebody to keep an eye on, especially as it pertains to how to defend Lauren Gustin. Kristen, Yvonne Ejim was the star in that matchup 9 days ago in Provo. When you look at Gustin and what Yvonne did.
Especially late in the game. She took over the game in that fourth quarter. She finished overall with 19 points, 10 rebounds, her 8th career double-double. Well, she will get the matchup defensively on Lauren Gustin. BYU is going to go with Emma Calvert on Ejim.
Our keys to the game as we get set for tip-off for BYU. How do they do something they haven't done all season? And that's take care of Gonzaga.
Yeah, big key is going to be hit shots. So BYU went 4 for 22 from distance last meeting. That allowed Gonzaga defensively to plug it up on Gustin inside. The guards have to hit shots. Ball control. Turnover's been an emphasis all season long for this BYU team. They have to take care of the ball.
And for the Zags, who have first possession of the game.
Well, the Zags are 23-1 when they out-rebound their opponent. Lisa Fortier said rebounding is going to play a key factor in this one. Keep them off the boards, limit them to one and done, and then push pace. She wants to see her team get some easier looks. They struggled a little bit offensively in the last meeting in Provo. Not a lot of offensive flow, and she said, we want to get a few easier looks in transition. So she's asking her guards to get that ball out quickly.
Yvonne Ejim had a pretty good look, but couldn't connect on the layup. So BYU with their first offensive possession. The Cougars in all royal blue, Gonzaga in their white uniforms. Ari Mackey-Williams to Lauren Gustin. Spin move at the hoop around Hollingsworth and a beauty, and the Cougars score first.
How about that patience right there? And you could see she's hesitant a little bit on that 15 to 17-foot range. She can hit that, but she's very comfortable putting that ball on the floor and getting to the rim. Gustin coming out aggressive.
Williams hands back to Hollingsworth. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Ejim will go back to Michaela Williams. Driving around the screen of Ejim. Terminates at the free throw line. Ejim, good physical move, but again, can't score the layup. Offensive rebound by the Zags. They go back to Trong. Beautiful dish inside. Ejim's not going to miss that one. We're tied at 2.
So those offensive rebounds, which are going to play a huge key. Gonzaga averages 12 offensive boards per game, and you see what happens. BYU scrambling defensively when they're trying to close out to people on the offensive kickout.
Falatea waits for the screen from Gustin. Baseline right, back to Gustin. She'll try a long two on line, just short. And the rebound for Brenna Maxwell.
Game plan offensively for BYU is to pull Gustin out, put her in that pick and roll situation. You see Lynn Trong just attack the basket, and she's a 3-level scorer, multi-dimensional guard that can do so much.
Well, BYU fortunate to maintain possession there. Calvert calling for some help, threw it over the head of Falatea, who saved it back in bounds, and BYU with possession. Lob pass, not a good decision by Ari Mackey-Williams into triple team coverage, and the first turnover by BYU.
Those are the turnovers we're talking about that they cannot afford to have, is those forced passes inside. It wasn't there. The guard's very good at pinching in when BYU's trying to post up their big down low.
Williams a little bit long on her three-point attempt, so we remain tied at, or rather it's 4-2 after the layup from Lynn Trong moments ago. BYU looking to equalize or take the lead with a 3 here. Falatea on the switch, picked up by Hollingsworth. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Falatea will step back into a 3, and that's going to be well short. Shot clock violation because of the air ball. Gonzaga basketball.
Now watch Gustin, they're pulling her out to start this game and put her in that pick and roll situation. It's gonna just free her up a little bit to work off the pick and roll. And then Trong on the kick out off the offensive board. Very nice pass to Ejim. Unselfish player making the right play.
Michaela Williams for 3. And it's a 7-0 run for Gonzaga.
And Williams, 36% perimeter shooter coming into this game, and she's a player that's going to get shots because BYU will worry much more about Maxwell and Trong on the perimeter.
Gustin back to Falatea. That swung to Calvert straight away. Kaylee Smiler on the left wing. Good defense by the Zags thus far. Smiler spinning, got to the hoop. Missed the layup, however, and the rebound collected by the Zags. Here's Maxwell, pushing pace. Williams in the right corner. Maxwell gives to Ejim, cycled to Kaylin Trong. Williams will collect again. Maxwell. Look at the ball movement from the Zags. Good pass inside. Ejim tried the left-handed layup. Got her own miss. That leaves Trong open for three in the left corner, and it's a 10-0 run for the Zags.
So far, the length of Emma Calvert on Ejim has been disruptive, but it's those extra rebounds that are creating open shots for Gonzaga on the perimeter.
Safe to say, not much rust for the Zags after the 9-day layoff, at least in the first 4.5 minutes of this game.
Well, and an experienced team like Gonzaga that comes in, they're not gonna suffer that rust, right? They know exactly what they need to do. Very disciplined and focused team.
Gustin missed the layup, got a rebound, and threw it over the head of Kaylee Smiler. Third BYU turnover.
Gonzaga has scored 10 straight points after BYU opened up with that first bucket. And watch right here. I mean, Egypt just stays with it, keeps that ball alive. And then the heads turn. BYU, you see Falate, her head turns as she's trying to locate the ball on the rebound. Trong was spotting up for a three-point shot in the corner.
Lynn Trong opts for Ejim, will receive the ball back. Thought about a three, and now they leave her open. It's on the way, just long. Offensive rebound again for Ejim.
3 offensive boards for Gonzaga. They have 5 points, so half their points have come off of the offensive glass.
Oh, and all by Ejim. She drives around Gustin, but had her shot blocked from behind. Key defensive play for BYU right there as the Cougars try and calm down here offensively.
They got to take care of the basketball. 3 turnovers, just be more efficient on the offensive side.
Calvert. How about that take from Emma Calvert? Saw a lane, aggressive move to the hoop.
Oh, she is playing so well. Over the last 4 games, averaging over 12 points per game. She's shooting 64% from 3 in those 4 outings.
Quick hands by Kaylee Smiler. Smack it away from Michaela Williams, and a turnover by the Zags. BYU with Rose Bubakar now. Smiler will try a 3, and that drops in. Kaylee Smiler, a defensive play on one end and a 3-point make on the other. It makes it 10-7, 5-0 response from BYU with 4 minutes to play in the first quarter.
I like the decisiveness, the confidence to step up and hit that shot. Smiler averages 46% from distance.
Another turnover by the Zags. That one on Lee Trong, as her pass was offline. And a rather easy takeaway for BYU that time. And Lynn Trong reaching in. Got a piece of Smiler's arm. We'll take a timeout. 3:42 to play in the first quarter on semifinal Monday. Winner on to the championship tomorrow. Stay with us. The WCC Basketball Championships brought to you by University Credit Union, who invite you to experience the credit union difference. To learn more about the benefits of banking with the cooperative, visit ucu.org today. Federally insured by NCUA. And by Jersey Mike's, a sub above. We welcome you back after the media timeout here to the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. Kaylin Trong, the West Coast Conference Player of the Year, making her impact felt thus far. She's either scored herself or assisted in all of 4 Gonzaga field goals in the first quarter. And we talked about her stepping up in the absence of her injured sister. Lee is back, trying to get to full speed. That's what great players do. When there's an absence, you step up and you make your presence felt, and she's had just a remarkable season.
Yeah, absolutely. She's just been solid. The calming presence they need with the ball in her hands, because she's got it in her hands the majority of the game, and she knows exactly what Lisa Fortier wants executed on the offensive side of the ball.
And the connection there on the Trong sisters. Misfiring from 3 after another BYU turnover. Nani Falatea, hesitation move, and she'll go to the free throw line for 2.
Lisa Fortier said, Nani Falate has one of the best hezzies we have played against this season. She is so good at selling that hesitation move. It's deceptive and getting to the rim. Extremely skilled point guard. Now, this is a point guard that's just a sophomore for BYU. She's coming back for a few more years, and a lot of pressure on her shoulders stepping in with everyone that BYU lost a season ago. The WCC regular season title is what BYU won a season ago, but Nani Falate has done a really good job stepping in and taking on that role as a point guard and a leader.
Falatea makes both free throws. Now BYU with a 7-0 run to respond after trailing 10-2. It's a 1-point game. And Smiler's going to be called for the bump on Maxwell coming off that screen.
I didn't see a ton of contact. I think that's something you can let go. Now, Smiler's a player that just has absolutely been phenomenal, the unsung hero on the defensive side of the ball. We saw what she did against Cormelia of San Francisco, holding her to just 5 points, 2 for 11 shooting on Saturday.
Rose Bubakar anticipates and steals. Bubakar to the hoop. Had her shot blocked, stays with it, blocked again. Hollingsworth able to do enough defensively to get back and prevent the layup. And Bubakar hustling back the other direction, knocks that one out of bounds.
So much size down low for this Gonzaga team. 6'3", Eliza Hollingsworth in there. And then you've got Ejim at 6'1", Michaela Williams, who's on the perimeter at 6'1", Hybens, who was in the game at 6'3". Hybens is going to come out now, but Rose Bubakar didn't have any advantage inside when she was going amongst the trees.
Lee Trong working with Hollingsworth. Jumper, too strong. And a foul is going to be called, I believe, on Emma Calvert, who was on the floor under the hoop. And that's Calvert's first.
Well, watch right here. Did she kind of just trip over her own leg, and then she trips Ejim? That is a foul. Unfortunate for Emma Calvert. She's just in the way.
Inbounded to Ejim. Going right at Calvert. Strong move, Yvonne Ejim. 17 points and 9 rebounds. Rather, was it 10, Kristen? 17 points and 10 rebounds in that win over BYU. Double-double 9 days ago in Provo. Falatea with BYU trailing by 3. Goes to Bubakar. Falatea will receive back. Now working with Gustin. Creates an open 3 look for Ari Mackey-Williams. That one's in and out. And Maxwell holds off Gustin for the rebound.
They've been outstanding on holding Gustin off, keeping her in check. Multiple players making sure they're aware when the shot goes up where Gustin's at. Gustin right now with just 2 rebounds in the game.
This off a 27 rebound performance in BYU's win against San Francisco. Hollingsworth, no good. Ejim rips it away from Mackey-Williams. Beautiful pass from Lee Trong. And Callie Stokes scores the layup. Gonzaga by 5 with a minute and a half to play in the opening frame.
And that's a play where Gonzaga just wanted the ball more. You saw 2 royal blue jerseys stare down the rebound, but not go get it. You got to go get those. Value the possession. 50-50 balls.
Ejim pressuring Lauren Gustin on the sideline. Knocks that out of bounds. It'll stay with BYU to take one more look at just effort.
Ejim, just the effort. You had 3 BYU players surrounding that rebound that probably could have got it just as easily as her, but she wanted it more. She went after that rebound.
Smiler bounces to Bubakar. Left the layup short. The size inside of Gonzaga bothering Rose Bubakar and BYU.
Very disruptive right now. Then they're staying straight up. They're not bailing her out, keeping her arms straight up as a defensive post inside and forcing her to take a tough shot.
Lee Trong bounces to Ejim. Ejim driving on Gustin, flips a pass over to Maxwell, who will step back for 3. That's no good. And Gustin has her 3rd rebound of the game, and she's fouled in the process.
Now that's how you pull down a rebound. And you whip that ball around to make sure nobody's going to tie you up. She didn't swing elbows. She just was aggressive and said, this is my board. I'm going to get this. This is what Gustin has done all season for BYU. And you have to love the competitive aggression, knowing that is an important rebound. I'm not going to give this one up.
Fouled by Michaela Williams. That's her first personal. Bubakar has the ball poked out of her hands, but out of bounds. Kaylee Smiler will come over to inbound the ball. 42.5 seconds to play in the first quarter. Bounced into Falatea.
Well, BYU is a team just shooting 27%. Really haven't gotten into a good offensive flow, getting good looks. That's a good look.
The high-low with the defense moving, good ball movement by BYU, and Lauren Gustin puts Calvert in a good position. She can't finish the layup, but she'll shoot 2 free throws.
And you're exactly right. That skip, that pass up top very quickly from the corner to the top is what created that, because the defense can't rotate as quickly and adjust and pinch in And that's what we need more of. If you're BYU, you got to have more of that ball movement and skip that pass quickly.
Emma Calvert, 88% free throw shooter on the season. Doesn't get to the line a ton, but when she does, she typically makes them and drops in the first.
And Calvert has really elevated her game as of late, the last couple weeks. I talked to Morgan Bailey, the assistant for BYU, and she said the change really came after that San Francisco game on February 11th, and it was that game where we just said, or excuse me, February 18th, where she said we had to change the body language. We had to change the self-talk. You miss a shot, just forget it and get back. Don't make it domino effect into the next shot. And we've seen a shift in Emma Calvert, the sophomore for BYU.
Has elevated her three-point shooting percentage to 35. Now it's below 30 for a good deal of the WCC campaign. Shot clock and game clock almost identical. Game clock maybe a second and a half more. Michaela Williams, too heavy on the layup. 5 and 4 for Nani Falatea. Crossover dribble, a 2 and 1. Falatea at the buzzer, off glass, and that's short. Gonzaga will take a 3-point lead into the break. As we head on to the second quarter, it's 14-11. Cougars' offensive woes have not put them in too deep of a hole. Gonzaga showing few signs of rust after a 9-day layoff. We'll be back after this. The WCC Basketball Championships brought to you by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength by visiting HerculesTires.com. And by Nike, a proud partner of the West Coast Conference. After one quarter of play, the top seed Gonzaga Bulldogs lead the 5 seed BYU 14-11. The winner of this women's basketball showdown advancing to Championship Tuesday. BYU victorious on Friday against Pepperdine. Held on against USF, and now here we are as we take a look at the WCC Annual Conference Awards. Lisa Fortier, Coach of the Year. Kaylin Trong, her point guard, the Player of the Year. Tess Hill of Santa Clara, the Newcomer of the Year. Lauren Gustin is your Co-Defensive Player of the Year, along with Ayana Kalfani of San Diego. So we have Fortier, Trong, and Gustin all involved in this game. And what a fun matchup this has been over the last decade plus to watch consistently between BYU and Gonzaga. Typically, Kristen, it's been one of the two, winning the regular season or the conference tournament championship.
They absolutely have set the standard for everyone else in the conference to try to achieve and to work towards, and how they recruit and how they compete and their strategies.
Smiler for 3. Back iron, rebounded by Michaela Williams. And that's last touch by Gonzaga. Williams and Kaylin Trong not on the same page there. Some pressure from Mackie Williams affecting that, and BYU trying to take advantage of a turnover here early in the second quarter.
And a lot of credit to what we've seen from Ari Mackie Williams, and we've seen it throughout the tournament where she puts pressure, a little token pressure up there just to force that turnover.
Falatea, reverse layup, left that short. Hollingsworth has been the rim protector for the Zags early in this game.
And she's doing a really good job. That's her second board of the game, but she is keeping those arms straight up and making them take a tough shot over her size at 6'3".
Ejim inside, has her shot blocked by Calvert.
And there's that 6'4" frame that Coach Whiting was hoping would be disruptive to Ejim and take some pressure off of Gustin.
Good pass inside from Calvert to Gustin, who had her defender sealed, and BYU within one again at 14-13.
That high-low look from Calvert to Gustin, something they've worked on, tried to perfect throughout the season. It's not always there, particularly against a Gonzaga team that pinches in well, but when you're getting there in transition, she fed it into her perfect timing.
Ejim saves that inbounds. The Zags offense a little frantic over the past few minutes. Maxwell will try and calm it down for 3 and misfires. Rebounded by Falatea.
Smiler is so good defensively, fighting through those screens, forcing a tough shot.
Calvert turning a little baby hook, and she scores. BYU pushing pace, and the Cougars lead by 1.
That all started with Nani Falatea very quickly up the sideline to get that ball on the break where it needed to go.
BYU on a 13-4 run. Hollingsworth really being pressured by Calvert, and that's going to be the second foul on Emma Calvert. So we have likely seen the last of Calvert in this first half.
Here's the block, right? Watch from behind. Calvert, keep her body off, locate the ball. Nice job. And then they get the outlet quickly. The bigs are really looking to push that ball out quickly. And the seal. Boy, we didn't see hardly any of this last meeting in Provo.
Nicely drawn up play. Michaela Williams with an easy 12-footer. Get the Zags the lead back by 1.
They are so good at executing, especially that baseline out of bounds. The team.
Ari Mackey-Williams loses it on the dribble into the hands of Maxwell. The Zags want to run, and a little bit too ambitious right there. Kaylin Trong looks at Maxwell and says, calm down, calm down.
Hybens, the same thing to her teammate. Hey, we're all right. Let's just settle things down, and there's no rush, right? They're so good in the half-court set. If it's not there, don't force it.
Bubakar will go to Falatea. Falatea off the screen. Inside, beats Hybens, but can't finish the layup. That's a tough angle to score with the right hand.
And she's had a couple looks like that, right? Where her body's not quite at an angle to finish well, finish high on the backboard.
Ejim pulling at the left elbow. And another block shot by BYU, that one by Kaylee Smiler. And a tie-up happens, possession arrow points to Gonzaga. But Christian, this goes back to a conversation we've been having at the West Coast Conference Tournament, and that is Kaylee Smiler's defensive presence, specifically her ability as a shot blocker.
To finish regular season, she's top 5 in the conference in blocks per game. I mean, that's incredible as a guard coming in at 5'8", what she's able to do to keep her body off and locate the ball.
They inbound to Ejim. Lynn Trong, tough shot, she's fouled.
That's going to be
BYU fans
second on Smiler.
Let their collective voices be heard about the disagreement.
Ooh, I don't think that's a foul at all. And now Trong initiates that contact, but Smiler's able to absorb it, right, and stay there. Other than that, Smiler didn't do anything other than absorb the contact that was initiated by Trong.
Credit to Lynn Trong for selling that. Now, she's listed as a senior, Kristen, but everybody on this Gonzaga team's coming back next year, which is an unbelievably frightening thought for the rest of the West Coast Conference moving forward.
If for BYU, maybe a little grateful, right? The Big 12. I mean, that's a beast of its own. But this Gonzaga team is fully loaded, as you mentioned. Just one conference loss. That one coming to Santa Clara this year in the regular season.
Good find for Barcelo. The three drops in, and there's a foul away from the basket. As Rose Bubakar hit the floor, so that three's going to count. And then BYU will have a free throw here as well.
The BYU bigs, not only Gustin, but we're seeing Calvert and Rose Bubakar go hard to the boards and try to create some second opportunities. That's why that foul came.
Correction, it'll be BYU basketball because of the non-bonus situation. So the Cougars with an opportunity at maybe a 5 or 6 point play here. Falatea.
Boy, the angle.
The layup short.
Not quite there, and her momentum is just taking her to the side.
Good pace by Kaylin Trong. She sensed an opportunity with BYU on their collective heels, and she scores in transition. The Zags in front by 2. Trong has 9 points to lead all scorers.
And she's focused, coming out. Didn't have her best game last meeting against BYU, scoring those 7 points.
Bubakar.
That's an easy pickoff. I mean, easy anticipation to take that away.
And one for Yvonne Ejim. So tough sequence there for Rose Bubakar of BYU, and the Zags so good at making teams pay on the transition after a turnover.
And here's a look at offensively that other possession by Trong, and then Ejim, she's like, I got the steal, I'm taking this coast to coast. And she finishes with the foul on Rose Bubakar.
Ejim pays it off. Just like that, Gonzaga back in front by 5, 23-18 with 6:12 to play in the first quarter.
How about Yvonne Ejim? She's got 7 points, 6 rebounds, having herself a game.
Timeout, Amber Whiting and BYU. The Zags answer back after the BYU run. We'll be back with more from the West Coast Conference Tournament. Welcome back to the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's 23-18, 16th ranked Gonzaga, #1 seed in the tournament, leading BYU by 5. A reminder that while you watch West Coast Conference basketball, you can join the conversation with the hashtag WCC Hoops. And remember, for the latest news, scores, and more as it pertains to the West Coast Conference, simply follow WCC Hoops on Twitter. Gonzaga, again with the 5-point advantage, but you really want to talk about the difference in the game. You look at the second chance points for the Zags, and that's why they have this lead.
They have 5 offensive rebounds, which have led to 11 second chance points. BYU has 0 second chance points, and it's apparent the emphasis that has been made by Lisa Fortier and her staff with her team, saying you got to go out and get the board. You got to create some extra opportunities. Forces BYU to have to defend longer than the 30-second clock, right? And then they're scrambling out on shooters. We've seen it multiple times. Egypt's got her own rebound and kicked it out to a wide open shooter.
A little pressure from Gonzaga against the BYU guards in the backcourt. Ari Mackey-Williams give out to Falatea, and she throws it away. That double team coming in the corner, and BYU just sped up. So Gonzaga gets exactly what they hoped for out of that timeout.
Forcing you to make a mistake, right? Forcing you to beat yourself, and that's what we saw right there. Falatea, too much on that pass, miscommunication.
7 turnovers for BYU. Trong just about hit the 3. Battle for the rebound. It's controlled by Mackey-Williams. And a foul is going to be called on Lynn Trong. That's going to be her second personal foul. 5:41 to play in the second quarter. So does Lisa Fortier leave her star point guard on the floor? And it appears she will for now with the 2 fouls. Well, it's nice when you have Lee Trong on the bench as well, if you have to go to that.
Right, her twin sister. Now Lee has missed a ton of games, missed 3 months with that injury. She injured it back in November against Tennessee and had to sit out for those 3 months. Now she is a couple games back, but not quite the same when you've had Lynn Trong all season long running the show.
8 turnovers now for BYU, and the Cougars are clearly wanting to work through the inside and then have it work back out, but just so many ill-advised passes to try and get it into the post.
Right, you have to
easy steals.
You have to wonder how much of the fatigue is playing a factor. I know they had a day off yesterday, and it's more a mental fatigue, right? Not as much physically, I think, with this BYU team, but it's a mental fatigue, being sharp, being focused. Good D by Rose Bubakar.
And a steal by BYU. Gustin involved there. Falatea pushing to Ari Mackey-Williams. BYU's offense has gone cold over the last 4 minutes plus. And you can attribute that to turnovers as well. Mackey-Williams for 3. Got it! Ari Mackey-Williams. And she hit some enormous shots late in the game on Saturday.
That was a huge one, and especially reading the defense off the pick and roll opportunity right there. Lynn Trong went under the screen, and that's the correct read. If you're a shooter, you better pull that trigger and shoot that shot when your opponent does not respect your range.
Lynn Trong working on Williams. Gustin there to help out off the screen. Hybens, long 2, banks it in. Well, the bank is open early on a Monday in Las Vegas. 4-point Gonzaga lead.
Doesn't matter how it goes in, right? As long as it goes in.
Mackey-Williams has Gustin. Entry pass for Bubakar. Rose Bubakar, an aggressive move, and she scores against Esther Little. Bubakar hasn't had the greatest tournament. She's really struggled from the field. That's a big bucket right there.
Some confidence boost for Rose Bubakar because she can have an advantage, particularly off the dribble against the freshman Callie Stokes.
That's easy pickings for Michaela Williams. We've seen her left open a couple of times from 12 to 15 feet. She'll knock that down just about every shot she gets. Amanda Barcelo floater from the short corner left.
And Barcelo taking her opportunities when she gets them. We saw her knock down a big 3-point shot. And then that one right there, just very good job reading the defense for a nice little floater on the short corner.
Williams to Caitlin Trong. Trong will settle for a jumper. That is so good. That is so smooth.
Where she's just incredible. The calmness and just the presence out there. She impacts the game, and it's not just scoring. I mean, we're obviously gloating about what she does offensively, but she's doing everything. If you watch her, she's coming to get the ball. She's looking at coach, making sure, hey, all right, now we want to slow it down, right? So changing the pace of the game, setting the tempo defensively as well.
11 points, 4 assists, 0 turnovers for Kaylin Trong.
Yeah, that's the most important one you're looking at with your point guard, the assists and the turnovers.
Williams with the ball. Gonzaga with the 4-point lead. 8 seconds on the shot clock. A little over 2 minutes to play before halftime. Behind the back dribble. Trong wants a 3. And that's a little bit ambitious right there, but didn't have many options with the shot clock winding down.
And Mackie Williams does a good job not bailing her out as well. Just staying high, staying straight up. Look at Barcelo, the freshman. She was an all WCC freshman team pick. And then Trong on the other end, she matched it with her shot on the baseline as well. Just a little bit different fashion.
BYU basketball. Falatea across the timeline. 2 minutes to play before the halftime break. Back to Boubacar. Falatea will receive back. As Mackie Williams, guarded by Maxwell. Mackie Williams into the lane, back up for Barcelo, cycle to Falatea. Falatea, step back into a 3. That's well short, offensive rebound. Lauren Gustin, Yvonne Ejim reaching inside, will be called for the foul. 3rd team foul on Gonzaga. Falatea 0 for 6 now from the field. A reminder to join us for the University Credit Union halftime show. Jerem Jordan and Tyler Haas will have your complete breakdown of the first half between the Cougars and Zags, stats, highlights, and more as we continue on our extensive coverage from Las Vegas. The WCC Network got you covered wire to wire in partnership with ESPN, as well as moving to the men's games tonight.
Well, the officials talking about something over at the scores table for a moment, trying to figure something out.
So a conversation is happening about the foul, we believe. And Lisa Fortier is going to have to substitute in Michaela Williams to replace Kaylin Trong, because if that goes against Kaylin Trong, that would be her 3rd personal.
That may go back to the foul that they called when Ari Mackie Williams drew it on the outlet, chasing that ball down. And that was a few minutes ago, but I don't think Lisa Fortier and her staff realized that was the 2nd on Trong. When you mentioned it, Spencer, she's going to leave her in, right? If you remember that moment, she left her in.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they knew that. And trying to protect the guard and make sure she doesn't pick up a 3rd in this moment is what they're trying to achieve.
Okay. Rose Boubacar. And a little hand check by Hollingsworth.
Rose is doing a good job being aggressive because the pressure's there and they're coming out. They're tightening that gap defensively, and she's putting the ball on the floor because she's very athletic, great ability to sweep through and get to the rim.
The Gonzaga fans don't like that call, and that seems pretty ticky-tack based on what we've seen for the game. Hollingsworth with her first, she'll check out. 14 fouls on the Zags. One more put BYU in the 2-shot bonus for the remainder of the half. Ari Mackie Williams step through. Left-handed layup left just a little bit short, and the rebound to Ejim, who now has 7 boards and 7 points. Lee Trong goes to Ejim. Inside, Hybens, shot blocked by the recovering Barcelo. Hybens was wide open for a moment, and Gonzaga just missed the opportunity.
Miscommunication on that come together right here as you watch the BYU player. Just miscommunication, but credit to the freshman Barcelo getting over there in time, locating the ball, big time block. As a team, BYU has 4 blocks already.
Ejim, strong move. It is always an intriguing matchup between Lauren Gustin and Yvonne Ejim. If Yvonne Ejim didn't have the Trong sisters on her team, she'd probably have numbers similar to Lauren Gustin. Maybe not rebounding, but certainly she'd have more gaudy numbers.
Gonzaga a little more balanced, right? As you mentioned, balanced offensively to spread out the load. Oh my goodness, what a block from Yvonne.
Well, that sends
right
a message.
on cue.
9.7 rebounds and 1 emphatic block, not to mention 2 steals for Ejim already in the first half.
Not in my house is exactly what she's saying right there.
31-25, 6-point Gonzaga lead. Falatea scoops, still can't find the mark from the field.
0 for 7 for faults. Hey, look at Mackie Williams, though. It's that pressure coming up.
And Ejim comes back and picks up her 3rd steal of the game. Well, the shot clock is off. Gonzaga, at the behest of Lisa Fortier, will hold for the final shot. And a foul called on Falatea. That's the 4th team foul on BYU. That's a frustration foul for sure on Nani Falatea, her first personal.
Cougars with 9 turnovers here in this first half, and that's something they're going to have to adjust. They got to do a much better job taking care of the ball. It's been an emphasis all season long. Our ball control.
Lee Trong with 10 seconds now to play before the halftime break. Wants Ejim inside. Ejim going right at Lauren Gustin. Leaves that short. Battle for the rebound. BYU basketball with 0.5 to play.
Nice job by Amanda Barcelo to help box out right there on the shot. Gustin made Ejim take a tough shot.
Inbounded, and we are through 1/2 of our first game on semifinal Monday. Gonzaga leads by 6, 31-25, behind Yvonne Ejim and Kaylin Trong, their 2 stars. Jerem Jordan and Tyler Haas have your University Credit Union halftime show coming up right after this.
This is the University Credit Union halftime show. Gonzaga 31-25. Huge block by Yvonne Ejim on Lauren Gustin. What a matchup that is, as we are 20 minutes into the West Coast Conference. First semifinal of the day. The Gonzaga Bulldogs 16th in the AP poll today, up 31-25 as the top seed on 5-seed BYU. Thanks for being here. Jerem Jordan alongside the 3rd leading scorer in men's history in this league, Tyler Haas. We got ourselves a battle in the semifinal between 2 good teams. Gonzaga certainly the favorite in this one. They've got a 6-point lead at the break. What stuck out to you?
Well, I think just the energy and emotion in this game. Both teams want to win so bad. It's tourney time. Both teams are fighting. It's a very scrappy, physical game. And really, it started with Lynn Trong. She's controlling the pace of this game. Really impressed with her play in the first half.
Had a game-high 11 points on 4 of 9 shooting, 4 assists, made the 1 3. She has been awesome. WCC Player of the Year.
Yeah, 4 assists, 0 turnovers, has an ability to get to the rim, she gets to the spots on the floor that she wants to, does such a great job, then has the ability to stretch the floor, shoot it from the outside. She is playing extremely hard for the Zags.
Twin sister Kaylee Trong made a comeback in the last game, is back on the squad after an injury for an extended period of time, about 2 months. Yvonne Ejim is a first-team all-conference player as well, who had 9 points, so they've got 20 of the 31. When you need a win in this setting, you need your 2 stars to show up.
Right. Yvonne Ejim was so tough on both ends of the floor. She's got 9.7 rebounds, just doing everything for her team right now. I was impressed with her on the defensive end and the way she just battled the BYU bigs, Emma Calvert, Lauren Gustin. She was not backing down from either of those players and just going right at them. Here you see her in transition, her ability to finish, right hand, right foot. Really impressed with just her energy and effort, and she's doing everything for her team right now.
She can take over a game. Dynamite player out of Canada. For BYU, 9 turnovers in the first half, really made it kind of choppy, although there was a 13-4 run in there.
Right. Yeah, BYU, this is something they've struggled with all year long, trying to keep down the turnovers. And you see some of these passes, they're trying to go high-low, which they've liked this tournament. And they're just some careless passes that they've got to fix if they want to stay in this game, because Gonzaga just makes you pay on the other end. Here you see Rose Bubakar, really good steal, just can't finish on the other end. Gonzaga's bigs right now, Hollingsworth, Hybens, they are making it really tough for BYU to finish inside. But these turnovers, a lot of them, BYU can fix. These are correctable turnovers that, you know, they need to stay aggressive, right? That when you start talking about turnovers in the locker room, it can make you hesitant. But in tournament play, you have to keep the aggressiveness up. Find a way to make good decisions, take care of the ball, but remain aggressive.
Emma Calvert leads BYU, as she did in the quarterfinals, had 17 in that one. She's got 6 in the first half. She's playing good. She had 17 points against Gonzaga in the last matchup in promo.
She's playing great basketball right now. If she can stay out of foul trouble, she's got 2 fouls. She's going to play an integral part of this second half. She's over her last 4 games, Jerem, she's shooting 60% from 3. I'd like to see them try and get her a couple of easy looks from 3. She's shooting the ball extremely well. Here you see a block right here. She's playing extremely hard, trying to help her team win.
Meanwhile, the big 2 for BYU, the first team all-conference selections of Nani Falatea and Lauren Gustin, have combined for 6 points and 4 rebounds from Lauren Gustin. Really limited in that first half. How did they slow those 2 down at what they do so well?
Well, I think they're speeding Nani Falatea up and making things tough around the rim. Whenever you drive inside and you see the towers that Gonzaga has, it makes you second guess sometimes your finishing. And so Nani Falatea, though we've seen her miss a bunch of easy layups, she gets past that first line of defense, and her first step is so quick. She's getting to the basket. She just needs to finish. I think she will the second half. I think if she remains aggressive, she's going to find some easy buckets. But really, I feel like that's the difference in the game right now. You know, they've gotten a good lift from Amanda Barcelo. Mackie Williams has stepped up. BYU, the other BYU guards have had to find a way to help lift while Nani's struggling a little bit. But I anticipate they're going to go to her early, though, to get her going, get her confidence up, because they're going to need her in the second half.
Gustin and Falatea, 2 of 12. Those 2 makes coming from Lauren Gustin. As we take a look at the halftime stats presented by Jersey Mike's, a sub above. Low shooting from BYU, 42% for the Zags. Threes not going great for Gonzaga either. And +4 in the rebound category, which is a big deal for Gonzaga, given Lauren Gustin is the nation's leading rebounder.
Right. Yeah, Gonzaga's doing a great job on the boards, playing extremely hard. BYU's percentages are a little bit low, but other than that, it's a pretty evenly matched game, Jerem. Very back and forth. We've seen both teams go on a run, right? BYU struggled at the beginning. They went on a 13-4 run, and then Gonzaga finishes the half. And so it's very back and forth. It's tournament time. You can feel the energy in this building. Kind of feels like a home game for Gonzaga. Lots of Gonzaga fans, but it's super fun.
It's the Gonzaga Invitational. I've been saying it for a long time. All of Spokane empties in on spring break down in Vegas, and the Zags are up 6 at the half as Yvonne Ejim and number 16 Gonzaga try and punch their ticket to the final. Or will BYU come back in this one? We'll be back with
the WCC Halftime Show is brought to you by University Credit Union, who invite you to experience the credit union difference. To learn more about the benefits of banking with a cooperative, visit ucu.org today. Federally insured by NCUA. And by Jersey Mike's, a sub above.
Zags up 6 on the Cougars in the women's first semifinal. Second one is 2-seed Portland coming into the tournament for the first time. Number 6 seed Pacific trying to pull off the upset. Championship game tomorrow at 1 Pacific on ESPNU. What adjustments do you see in the second half?
Yeah, for BYU, you got to protect that ball, take care of it, value possessions, but be aggressive. If you're the Zags, hey, nothing easy, and get it out in transition.
Second half coming up after the break.
Welcome back to the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're set for half number 2 between the top seed Gonzaga Bulldogs and the number 5 seed BYU Cougars. Winner advances to Championship Tuesday, where they will get either Portland or Pacific. The second game in our slate of 4 games here on a very busy Monday. Alongside Kristen Kozlowski, I'm Spencer Linton, and here we go. Nani Falatea will control for BYU. Falatea 0 for 7 shooting. Kristen, hard not to believe that if BYU has any chance of winning this game, Falatea's got to get going.
Number one key right now is those guards got to make shots. It's particularly around the rim. The backcourt for BYU is combined for 2 for 14 in that first half and just not finishing. They're getting looks at the rim, getting by that initial pressure, but not finishing once they get in the paint.
Well, the Gonzaga guards, notably Kaylin Trong, has been outstanding. 11 points, 4 assists, no turnovers for the West Coast Conference Player of the Year. Here's Falatea, goes to Calvert, who had to sit the final 8 minutes of the first half with 2 fouls. Mackie Williams. And she doesn't get the ball released out of her hand before the shot clock expires.
Turnovers played a factor as well in that first half for this BYU team. Now a 10 overall as a team. Now Gonzaga didn't convert that as much as I think Lisa Fortier would have liked, with just 6 points off of turnovers. But when you force a team like BYU to cough it up that much, now BYU's having to defend more on the other side.
Maxwell with her foot on the line. Now they will go back and review that, but it was initially called a 2. So the Zags up 33-25. Maxwell, until she played BYU 9 days ago, had hit a 3 in every game this season. The Cougars prevented her from doing that, and she has not hit one today. And Falatea, well, she puts Calvert in a tough position, and that's another just really inexplicable type turnover for BYU. These are simple things as you look back at what Maxwell did off the screen.
Oh,
I think she's behind the line.
Out. Absolutely, that's a 3, and that's
she's
huge for Maxwell. As you mentioned, she went 29 straight games until Smiler held her 0 for 4 from 3-point in that matchup in Provo on the 25th of February.
Ejim, great position, and that's a gorgeous play call and draw up by Lisa Fortier and her staff. 11 points for Yvonne Ejim, and Gonzaga in front by 10. It's going to be 11 once they review it and make that 2 from Maxwell a 3.
Ejim is just incredibly consistent on both sides of the ball, and she's been very disruptive to Lauren Gustin defensively. Gustin held to just 4 and 4 in the first half, 4 points, 4 rebounds.
Michaela Williams is frustrated after she's called for a foul. This BYU offense ended the first half on an almost 4-minute scoring drought. And we're almost 2 minutes into the third quarter, and BYU still trying to find something, get anything to go offensively.
Now this is where it can really get out of hand. If you're BYU, it's a 10-point game. They have to execute on this side of the court. They've got to get something at the rim.
Gustin flips it up with the left hand. No good, and that's last touch by Maxwell. It'll be BYU basketball. Lisa Fortier applauds the effort defensively. 7 of the last 9 years, Gonzaga, champions of the West Coast Conference under Lisa Fortier. Mackie Williams, wide open 3. That 2 won't go. Gustin battling for the rebound, and she's the last one to touch it. Well, the scoring drought continues for BYU. We're pushing 6 minutes with no points.
Well, those are the shots, as we saw from Mackie Williams, that need to start dropping for BYU. They're just 9 for 30 in the game at 30% overall.
Maxwell. Oh.
She's working so hard. I mean, coming off screens, away from the ball. You saw that curl right off the screen, and Smiler's right on her hip.
That is so good, and there's another turnover by BYU. Beautiful pass. And the Gonzaga faithful going nuts in Provo. All smiles for Trong and Ejim. It is absolutely danger zone for BYU. Gonzaga on an 8-0 run to open up the second half. They pushed their lead to 14. They're going to review that 3 from Maxwell, and it's going to be a 15-point Gonzaga lead.
Well, getting it done with the defense, which is fueling their offense. How about 11 assists on 17 made field goals for Gonzaga? They're sitting pretty, 39-25. We'll be back in a moment.
Welcome back as we take a look at our key matchup in the first game of semifinal Monday. And our coverage on the WCC network. Lauren Gustin has been held largely in check. 4 points, 4 rebounds. This after she had 27 rebounds in the win against San Francisco. Granted, the Dons missed a lot of shots, but still, you got to go grab them. Kaylin Trong, so good thus far. Kristen, 11 points. She's been so efficient. 5 assists. no turnovers, and a steal. There's the Portland women's basketball team getting set for semifinal number 2. They'll take on upset-minded Pacific approximately 30 minutes after this first game between the Cougars and Zags wraps up. That three-pointer is indeed a three-pointer, Kristen, so it's now 40-25 Gonzaga in front. They're on a 9-0 run to open up the second half, and this could get out of hand in a hurry unless BYU is able to figure something out on offense.
Yeah, and of those 9 points, 7 of them have come off of 3 turnovers by BYU, and just they continue to not take care of the ball, and it's not necessarily something that was the extended pressure and all this pressure that's causing it. It's BYU beating themselves right now. Don't discredit what Gonzaga's doing with their defense, but there's a good look by Smiler, attacking that pressure, getting to the rim, finishing a shot around the rim.
She's been one of the bright spots for BYU, both her defensive energy and now with 5 points. And frankly, those 5 points, Kristen, are more than Lauren Gustin has scored, 4, and Nani Falatea has scored with 2.
Well, here's another look on Smiler as well. Now take a look offensively what she did, and nobody's stopping her. Maxwell needs to cut that off, but she doesn't have that help side rotation. Typically she has it there. That help side rotation bumps over, but it wasn't there. Smiler took advantage.
Well, Smiler just picked up her 3rd foul, so that's the bad news for BYU. As we just talked about the energy she's bringing to BYU, now she's going to have to take a seat. And that pass is deflected out of bounds off of Lauren Gustin and BYU. 6:43 to play here in the 3rd quarter. 19 seconds on the shot clock for the Zags, who lead by 13. Lynn Trong. Good move by Michaela Williams. Little floater is short, may have been partially blocked. Ejim with the rebound and put back. And she'll have a free throw to boot.
Offensive rebounds make that number 6 on the offensive glass for Gonzaga as a team, and now they've scored 15 points to BYU 0 points on offensive rebounds.
Just a staggering number.
And just watch, positioning, right? It's leverage, getting your body in the right spot. It's typically what we see from Gustin, but in this game so far, it's been Ejim getting the best of her.
She missed a free throw, but Ejim with 15 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, 0 turnovers.
That's an incredible stat line, and just shows you how much she impacts the game in every single area.
The 2 stars for Gonzaga have certainly outplayed the 2 stars for BYU today. Amanda Barcelo likes that little floater from the short corner left, has hit that twice today, and she's got 7 points. That's a huge bonus for BYU.
Comes in averaging 2 points per game, and taking advantage once again. That's the 2nd time we've seen in this half where Gonzaga's tried to run BYU shooters off the 3, and they put it on the floor and get a little jumper at short corner.
Hollingsworth for 3, no good. Ball's loose again, offensive rebound. That's off the front rim. Ejim again, and she's fouled. Yvonne Ejim having her way in the post on the offensive glass. That is her 7th offensive rebound.
Well, she's been incredible at just going to the rim every single time. Any shot goes up, she's finding it, going to get it, positioning herself, and particularly when that shot's going up on the left side of the rim, it's most likely going to bounce on the right side, and she's right there in the right spot to go get it. If you're BYU, you got to put a body on someone. You got to push them back and box out instead of just trying to jump straight up with them.
Ejim makes the first free throw. Correction, she has 6 offensive rebounds, but the point remains. She is doing work on the glass.
Gonzaga now as a team, 17-0 advantage, second chance points. That's the difference in the game right now, is that they're crashing the boards a lot harder than BYU is boxing them out on the defensive side.
Again, a 15-point Gonzaga lead at 44-29. Falatea to Calvert. She'll skip to Barcelo.
Boy, I think Barcelo should have shot that. You know, wide open, had a good look. I know she wants to move that ball around and be unselfish, but they need her offense right now.
Falatea, an air ball. Barcelo trying to save it in bounds. Mackie Williams is on the ground. And now BYU's defense will retreat and get back in position. The Zags trying to blow this game wide open against a BYU team that just maybe is running out of gas. Offensive foul is whistled on the Zags. That'll be on Brenna Maxwell. Lisa Fortier asking for an additional explanation. That's the 2nd on Maxwell.
The BYU does not have a ton of depth and just going 7 deep in this game, and that's typical for this BYU team. Lauren Gustin plays 38 minutes a game, good for 3rd in the nation. Qualitea plays a lot of minutes, just don't have the depth to give a spark. Now Emma Calvert can be a spark.
She's got a team-high 8 points. Now think about that. Midway through the 3rd quarter, it's Emma Calvert with 8. And then not Qualitea or Gustin, but 7 points for Amanda Barcelo. Those are your 2 leading scorers for BYU.
Qualitea and Gustin have only combined for 6 points in this game. Qualitea 0 for 9 from the floor. She has hit 2 free throws.
Williams lost it. Mackie Williams for BYU. Has it poked away by Lee Trong.
What a play.
Kind of sums up how it's gone for BYU today.
Oh my goodness, just being able to slap that ball away.
Ejim, another great pass. Hybens, easy layup and a timeout, Lisa Fortier. BYU all out of sorts. And Gonzaga taking full advantage. 46-31, Yvonne Ejim with her 3rd assist to go along with 17 points, 9 rebounds. We're back after this. Yvonne Ejim having an afternoon to remember in the semifinals. 17 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, no turnovers, and she's doing it again, Kristen, in that matchup with Lauren Gustin, who in her own right is an incredible athlete. It just feels like Ejim has Gustin's card in the last 2 games.
Probably one of the most important stats that Lisa Fortier will acknowledge is she's held Gustin to 4 rebounds. That coming off of a career high, a WCC tournament high, a single game high of 27 rebounds by Gustin on Saturday against San Francisco. So that may be the most important stat, that she's been able to limit Gustin on the boards and limit those extra opportunities that BYU typically gets per game. Ejim has been absolutely terrific.
Mackie Williams wants Gustin inside. A near steal. Bubakar, again, Chris, I don't know what to say, but these are just simple giveaways in so many regards. And the ball is loose. Barcelo ahead for Bubakar.
What's a heads-up play as that ball is being scrambled for. Barcelo able to identify Bubakar.
Gustin to give to Mackie Williams, and Lee Trong is going to be whistled for the reach-in.
You see a lot of effort from Mackie Williams in the hustle plays. She's scrambling for balls and trying to intercept passes on the defensive side, and then offensively trying to be aggressive off that screen right there and draw the foul. A lot of effort and intensity. You have to applaud that from what she's trying to do. Getting a little chippy underneath with Gustin and Hybens.
Inbounded to Smiler. She'll bounce to Gustin. Swung back to Smiler. Guarded by Callie Stokes, and now here is Mackie Williams over Hollingsworth, in and out. Offensive rebound, Rose Bubakar loses that ball on the way up, but a foul call, and Rose Bubakar is going to go to the free throw line.
Rose Bubakar in there trying to use some of that athleticism to go up and get that board. She had just 3 rebounds per game coming in, and she's already got 3 in this one to match her season average.
Foul goes against Maud Hybens. Hybens, 6'3", out of the Netherlands. Bubakar makes the first free throw. Rose now with 3 points. She'll have 1 more. And that one is perfect as well. The Gonzaga shooting 48% to BYU's 34%. The one thing, if you want to be super nitpicky, that the Zags have not done well, Kristen, is shoot the 3. Just 3 for 12 as Lee Trong makes the bucket, but a foul occurs before the layup goes up. This is the #1 3-point field goal percentage shooting team in the country, just 3 for 12, and yet they're in front by 13 because they have been so dominant on the offensive glass and second chance points.
Come in averaging 41.9% as the #1 team. Here's a look at that foul. see the aggressive move of Trong, and it just a 3-level scorer can really do anything she wants with that ball. Take you off the dribble, hit from the outside, and she's really good at getting to the free throw line, one of the top free throw shooters in the conference.
Lisa Fortier is arguing that that basket should have counted, but I believe they called the foul on the screen, which was well before Trong got to the hoop.
Well, this one's going to go against Eliza Hollingsworth, pushing off as she was trying to come to the ball and position herself to get a catch. She pushes off on Bubakar. Watch Bubakar right here. Just take this arm, this elbow extension. A good job by Rose. Sold it a little bit as well by going to the ground.
Eliza Hollingsworth with her second personal. Hybens and Maxwell check out for the Zags and Lisa Fortier. Mackie Williams and BYU needs something special here to try and put what has been a very composed and efficient Gonzaga team on their heels. Gustin has her shot blocked again. Jump ball. Possession arrow back to the Zags. And that has been a microcosm of this game for Lauren Gustin.
Yeah, that's been the matchup, and it's swayed in favor absolutely of Ejim because of how she's playing defense and what she's doing, positioning her body, cutting it off. I mean, she's read Gustin's moves perfectly and her counter moves, right? And so she knew she was going to spin back. Great anticipation for the block.
Williams wants Ejim inside. Here comes the double. Ejim back out to Williams. She'll settle for a three-pointer, and that touches every part of the rim and falls out, but another offensive rebound for Yvonne Ejim, her 7th offensive board. She's got 11 rebounds overall, and she's fouled on the putback. Watch how far this basketball goes down into the hoop.
How does that come out? Oh my goodness.
Ejim there to clean it up.
In the right spot, going to get that rebound once again. 11 boards. It's her 9th career double-double, and she has really come on strong to finish the regular season, and now obviously today to help carry this team.
Ejim now 4 for 5. Make it 5 for 6 from the free throw line. And Gonzaga again in front by their game-high 15 points. Ari Mackie Williams, reverse layup. And Mackie Williams is hurt as she goes down to the floor. Immediately grimaced, but she says she's okay. And they're going to put Nani Falatea back in the game. Mackie Williams going to check out, and they'll have the trainers take a closer look at her.
She made the right basketball play and get to the rim, trying to finish with the reverse. Now watch her legs as she lands right here, possibly. Right there. See the ankle?
Oh, yep, on the right ankle.
Right on Trong. Whoa. The ball was supposed to go to Gonzaga, and they gave it to BYU.
Oh.
And Falatea just took it and went, all right, I'm going to make a layup right here on my basket. My goodness.
Smiler and Falatea having a good laugh about that. Well, BYU hasn't had much to smile about in this game.
Oh, man. Just a mistake in handing the ball to BYU, but don't you love they just stepped right up and said, we'll take it.
Lee Trong. Back to her twin sister, Lynn. Lynn around the screen from Hollingsworth. We'll go back to Hollingsworth for 3, and that one drops in. The three-point shot, again, not great for the Zags today, just 29%, but that one goes down, and they lead by 18 points, and that is ruled off of Emma Calvert. Wheels starting to fall off for BYU late in the third quarter.
Now watch how far Trong pulls the defense, right? Freezes the defense, then she kicks it back out to a shooter. It's the 4-3 of the game for Gonzaga, but as you mentioned, not shooting quite at their mark as they lead the nation, coming in at 41.9%.
And Amanda Barcelo was called for a foul. Now, I'll credit Ejim or credit Joe. I did not see anything there.
Well, they haven't had an answer for her, and the positioning that she gets down low, right? And so watch right here, just the position on Barcelo, maybe on the head. No, not a ton of. I agree with you there.
I'm looking for something.
Not a ton of contact there. I think that's one that you can let go, but Ejim has done a really good job on that weak side block at getting herself prepared for the pass, because it's coming. Trong is doing a really good job as the defense rotates over, stops ball, a little kick pass right there inside to Ejim.
21 points for Yvonne Ejim and 11 rebounds. And 7 of 8 from the free throw line. And the game high lead extends to 20 for the Zags.
It has not been Smiler's day.
Was whistled for an offensive foul. That's her 4th. When she's been on the court, she's doing what she can for BYU, but the foul calls have definitely not gone in her favor.
This is a BYU team that's #1 in the conference in fewest fouls per game. So they come in averaging about just over 14 fouls per game. As a team right now, they're sitting at 13 total fouls on the game overall, right? And so, especially Smiler, she typically does a really good job not getting in foul trouble.
Hollingsworth, and a foul! The floodgates have opened. And the Zags lead by 22. Hollingsworth with a free throw coming.
Well, BYU just completely outmatched, it appears, by Gonzaga, and that's just head to toe right now. They're getting outplayed, they're getting beat off the dribble, they're getting out rebounded, and they're turning the ball over. But so much credit needs to go to Lisa Fortier, her coaching staff, at putting her team in the right spot with the scouting report, executing, getting them all on the same plan to focus and come in. And it's both sides of the ball. They're doing it offensively, they're doing it defensively. They just look like the more heavyweight team in this one.
25-point quarter for Gonzaga. They're led by 6 at the half. It's now a 23-point advantage. Volatea has her shot partially blocked, and Michaela Williams gives a thumbs down to that foul call. Her 3rd personal. Nani Volatea will go to the free throw line.
About the only thing that's been open for BYU is that baseline drive where they catch and sweep and get to the rim, trying to finish on the opposite side with the reversal. And Williams at 6'1", though, is going to pick up that foul.
One more for Volatea, and she makes that. So 4 points for Nani Volatea, all from the free throw line. She's 0 for 9 from the field. Meanwhile, Gonzaga as a team this half, 8 for 12 shooting as a team, and a lot of those are layups.
Yeah, points in the paint. Gonzaga 28-12 advantage.
Ejim, with 8 seconds to play in the quarter, goes to Lee Trong, guarded by Barcelo. There's 4 and 3, crossover dribble, Trong, long 2, and that goes down as well. 27 points in the 3rd quarter for the Zags.
That's the old Kaylee Trong we're used to seeing. What a move, and that's over a good defensive play from Amanda Barcelo. Lisa Fortier knows she's got to get this next quarter, seal the deal. They're up 58-35 over BYU.
The West Coast Conference Basketball Championships brought to you by TicketSmarter. Proud to be the official ticket resale partner of the WCC. Nothing beats the power and excitement of live events like TicketSmarter. Visit ticketsmarter.com today. And by CalHope. Feeling stressed or anxious? Visit calhope.org for free mental health support. 58-35, Gonzaga in complete control after 3 quarters of play. And while we have a moment, a reminder, the West Coast Conference and longtime partner Hercules Tires have teamed up to support mental health awareness. Hercules Tires, the official tire of the WCC, is donating $5,000 to the conference as the WCC and its membership will enhance the well-being of student athletes, including league-wide wellness initiatives. BYU basketball to open up the 4th quarter. 3-pointer is off the front of the rim and missed by Mackie Williams. How about this stat? Yvonne Ejim outscored BYU by herself in the 3rd quarter, 12-10.
She's been outstanding in this one with 21 overall. 11 rebounds. As we mentioned, that's her 9th career double-double.
We look at the West Coast Conference tournament history. Gonzaga 10 titles. BYU in the 12 seasons that they played in the WCC won 3 to their credit. All 3 under head coach Jeff Judkins. Smiler is fouled by Yvonne Ejim. There was a collision up by the Gonzaga bench and Lisa Fortier as well, and the whistle stayed quiet.
No call either way. They let this one play out. Watch this. A lot of contact there with Mackie Williams into Trong. Yeah, this should have been a foul on Mackie Williams right here. I know she's being aggressive trying to go get that ball, but that's a lot of contact that needs to be called.
Falatea. And runs into 2 Zags, and a blocking foul is called. That'll be on Michaela Williams. That's her 4th personal, and Williams has been very frustrated over the last few minutes. A traveling call issued to her saying she was pushed, and then a frustrating foul call right there. Falatea back to the free throw line, and she remains perfect from the charity stripe, 5 for 5, with 1 more coming.
Well, this is one way that BYU can chip into this massive lead is stop the clock, get to the free throw line, right? Be aggressive, try to draw contact as much as possible every time you're down the floor. But it won't do it by just scoring, right? They've got to get stops. I mean, you got to be able to come down, defend right now on this half-court set. Take it 1 possession at a time. Your shell D defense, where you got to defend for those 30 seconds.
And that's knocked out of bounds by Lee Trong. Mackie Williams pressuring there. Well, it's a very thin silver lining at this point for BYU, but they are 10 for 10 from the free throw line, and they just picked up a stop right there on the defensive
There you go. I mean, just be aggressive, right? You're going almost for a steal every single time to try to get a stop.
And the Calvert to Lauren Gustin, and a foul. That's a rare win in the post for Gustin in today's game against Yvonne Ejim. Well, Gustin now, who's been extremely quiet, with 6 points and just the 4 rebounds. Has she had a game where she hasn't hit double figures in at least one of those categories all season? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't either. And you know what a pass from Calvert. She had the smaller Trong on her.
That's 4 fouls now on Yvonne Ejim. So Maud Hybens and Hollingsworth are the post players now for the Zags. And Gustin makes the free throw, 7 points. A little 5-0 spurt for BYU. The lead at 18 with 8:45 to play in the game. Gonzaga still in control.
BYU into a zone now, mixing it up defensively just in this quarter, and it has paid off early for Coach Whiting's club.
Falatea has it stripped away by Lynn Trong. Probably needs to give it up in that point and then hope to get it back. And look at Maxwell run the floor the other way.
The pass from Trong in transition, just threading the needle to Maxwell.
Gustin goes opposite side, leaves that short, offensive rebound. And she'll go back out to Mackie Williams. Calvert has that pass stolen by Lee Trong, was intended for Falatea in the corner. Mackie Williams with a steal, saves it into Gustin. Ahead for Falatea.
And that came as Lisa Fortier was trying to slow her team down. She signaled, let's slow it down. I'm not sure why they're so rushed, right? There's no need. Work this clock. If you're Gonzaga, just be more calm and controlled. Here's the strip, though. Watch the strip. 2 Trong sisters getting in there, but the strip by Lynn Trong.
And then a beautiful pass to Maxwell. Finishes on the reverse with that left hand. We'll take our media timeout now with 7:55 to play in the game. Gonzaga 60, BYU 40. The Bulldogs comfortably on their way to a championship appearance. Welcome back to the Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. Game 1 of 4 on semifinal Monday. The women up first, and Gonzaga living up to their billing. 20-point lead. Reminder to watch that while you watch, West Coast Conference basketball. Join the conversation, the hashtag WCC Hoops. For all the latest news, scores, and more, follow WCC Hoops on Twitter. Game number 2 between the 2-seed Portland and the 6-seed Pacific Tigers at approximately 2:30 p.m. Pacific time, or 30 minutes after this game finishes. And Lauren Gustin's going to be whistled for an offensive foul, matched up against Maud Hybens. That's Gustin's third personal.
BYU as a team has been held to just 16 rebounds. Now that is the average for Gustin. Gustin averages more than that, actually, 16.9. Boy, rebounds, huge factor in favor of Gonzaga. They also have 19 second chance points.
A blocking foul is called on Ari Mackey-Williams, with Trong driving inside the lane.
So just, a little push as well. Mackey-Williams has been on the floor a lot, and in the media table. She has been everywhere in this one.
Kaylin Trong, 11 points. Give her 12 on that first free throw make. She's got 7 assists and just the 1 turnover.
That's an incredible stat. 7-1.
Makes both. And the Zags lead by 22. BYU had it down to 18. A little bit of energy to open up the fourth quarter, but Gonzaga has responded here. Mackey-Williams for BYU. Driving inside, and everything is just so tough and contested. It'll be BYU basketball, last touch by the Zags. The Cougars with 18 turnovers, and couple that with how much they've been dominated on the offensive glass, and this is how we get to this result.
Yeah, that's something that Gonzaga's really good at, right? Crashing the offensive glass, converting it, and then taking your turnovers and converting it. Now that's a big shot from Kaylee Smiler. And Smiler averaging 46% from distance coming in this year and last year, one of the top 3-point shooters for BYU.
The 3 in response is no good, and Hybens is going to be called for a foul. That's the 15th foul on Gonzaga in the fourth quarter, so BYU will go to the free throw line every foul call that goes against Gonzaga for the remainder of the game.
We saw Hybens there trying to protect off of that screen, but didn't close out enough, knowing her guard was tangled up.
Calvert has taken 35 free throws this season, Kristen, and made 31. Make it 32 for 36.
BYU as a team, perfect 12 for 12 at the line.
One more for Calvert as BYU looks to remain perfect from the charity stripe, and they do so. 62-45.
And Calvert now in double figures for BYU with 10. She's the only player in double figures. And she has just been playing outstanding offensively. Really has turned it on as of late, the last couple weeks. Coming off 17 points, obviously, on Saturday, but also tied that career high against Gonzaga in Provo, February 25th.
Maxwell, you want to beat a zone? Give it to Brenna Maxwell after some ball movement, and that's exactly what the Zags do. Three-pointer is good, and Smiler has now fouled out on what has been ruled as an illegal pick. And that's a frustration smile for Kaylee Smiler.
And here's a look at that kick, just a heads-up play, skipping that across to the weak side. Maxwell's feeling it right now, and she should. 10 points now, 2 for 4 from distance. The #1 3-point shooter in terms of 3-point percentage, at 50% coming in.
And there's a deflected pass by Gustin. Falatea. Kristen, it's just been an absolutely nightmarish day for Nani Falatea. I'm recalling 3 separate occasions she's had a transition opportunity off of a turnover, and she's turned it back over all 3 times.
Yeah, 0 for 10 in this game. She is 6 for 6 at the line, but 5 turnovers and only 1 assist.
And there's turnover number 21 by BYU.
Wheels coming off even more.
These are not turnovers created by Gonzaga pressure. This is BYU beating themselves in those regards.
And that goes back to maybe where we talked about. Are they running out of gas? Are they in a mental fog? And I think we've seen a little bit of that with the mental fog and just not being sharp with their passes.
Foul inside. Gustin's going to argue her case.
I remember this BYU team, as we mentioned Saturday, I mean, 25 turnovers, and San Francisco scored 26 off of that. Well, we're heading in that direction. But BYU hasn't shot the ball as well from three-point as they did in that game. And so BYU with 21 giveaways now. Gonzaga with 22 points off of those turnovers.
Travel called on Yvonne Ejim. And for what it's worth, the Zags have had some ball security issues of their own, 17. But you can overcome that when you shoot 50% from the field and have just, again, dominated the glass against the BYU team with Lauren Gustin that pride themselves on being the best rebounding team in the conference.
Yeah, they've got 9 offensive rebounds for 19 second chance points.
Falatea to Amanda Barcelo. Offensive foul on Nani Falatea. That's her 6th turnover of the game, 22nd turnover for BYU. 65-45, just over 5 minutes to play in the game. The Zags on their way to a championship game appearance, barring an absolute meltdown. Hollingsworth was the intended recipient on that pass from Ejim, knocked out of bounds by BYU.
Ejim continues to work down low, and she's just had an outstanding game. Hollingsworth will come out. You bring in Hybens. Boy, they just have so much depth off the bench, and they've battled their injuries throughout the season. This is something Lisa Forte said. It's actually been a really tough year because of the injuries, because of the players we've had out at times. Kaylee Trong, obviously. Hybens has been out at times.
Gustin secures the rebound. That's her 8th rebound to go along with 7 points. Falatea still looking for her first field goal. She'll give it up to Bubakar for 3, and that banks in for Rose Bubakar. She's got 7 points. We mentioned that the bank's open, and it's open for both teams.
Well, the bench has been terrific for BYU. I mean, they hold an advantage there. Not many advantages in the game for BYU, but a 14-8 advantage with bench points.
Maxwell.
They're just so tough. I mean, Spencer, pick your poison, right? Who you take away? You're trying to take away Ejim. They're going to kick it out and find Maxwell. They move the ball really, really well. They're so balanced. And they do the little things, right? I mean, it's rebounding the ball, forcing turnovers. BYU once again can't finish close to the rim.
Falatea with a steal. And that will be her first field goal of the game. With 3:51 to play. Nani Falatea with the steal and score to bring BYU within 18. And Ari Mackey-Williams will pick up another foul. That is her 2nd personal. And 5th team foul on BYU. Gonzaga shooting 2 in the bonus the rest of the way.
About back and forth threes. Bubakar uses the backboard to get hers to go down. Maxwell, just the spacing, the timing on the pass. They've been able to find her in the zone. She's a player that absolutely loves when teams play a zone because she can just move about that perimeter and find herself open. Now, when you're playing man-to-man, Smiler's done a really good job on her this season, but it's more difficult for a player like Maxwell to get herself open.
One more free throw for Lee Trong, and Gustin has secured rebound number 9. Now, we should know, we haven't talked about it in today's game, Lauren Gustin is 32 rebounds away from tying the NCAA single-season all-time record. And we should also note that Gustin has played 2 fewer games than the record holder with those 563.
So with those 9 rebounds now, Gustin has 532 rebounds just this season alone.
An unbelievable number. She's averaging 16.8 rebounds per game. And Gustin will go to the free throw line. She's still in pursuit of what could be a double-double here today. 7 points, 9 rebounds.
The only player in the game that has not come out. Not at all. And that goes for Gonzaga or BYU. And that's something that has been a staple for her, is just having the endurance, having her body in a physical shape to play that many minutes. I mean, 38 minutes a game, good for 3rd in the nation. That's a lot of minutes, particularly when you're down low and you're banging the whole game. It's very physical.
First free throw missed by BYU in the entire game. Falatea is fouled on the offensive rebound. Maud Hybens has her third personal. Callie Stokes was one that picked up the foul before for the Zags. She's got 2. And Nani Falatea will have 2 free throws. She makes the first. 9 points for Falatea, 7 of those coming from the free throw line.
Much better quarter for BYU. Now it's probably too little too late, obviously, but they've done a much better job and hold a 17-11 advantage. They've done better on the boards.
69-53. Little over 3 minutes to play in the game. Maxwell, long 2. Brenna Maxwell is
tough.
In the zone.
That's a tough shot over 6'4" stretched arm of Emma Calvert.
15 points on 6 of 9 shooting. She's made 3 threes. Matthew Williams has the ball knocked down by Esther Little. And there is turnover number 23 on BYU on the interior pass. Maxwell, was there any doubt?
Not in my mind.
The way that she's shooting the ball right now.
Not in my mind, Spencer.
18 points from Maxwell.
Do not doubt. 50% three-point shooter, #1 in the nation, Brenna Maxwell.
Just like that, the Zags are shooting 39% from the three-point line as a team.
That's why it's so tough to get out and pressure a team like Gonzaga, because they're so good at spacing the floor and getting their shooters where they need to be in transition.
74-53. 2:37 to go. The Zags will have either Portland or Pacific in tomorrow's championship game. Now, if the results hold, and again, it would take something that we've never seen before in the history of West Coast Conference basketball. So this is the last game that BYU's women's team will play in the WCC. 8 20-plus win seasons, 3 conference tournament championships, regular season championship a year ago, and what was just a remarkable season for BYU under Jeff Judkins in his final year as head coach. And now it's the Amber Whiting era. And to BYU's credit, Kristen, they had a 4-game losing streak coming into the conference tournament. Beat Pepperdine, beat San Francisco. They'll finish 16-16 overall and then head into the Big 12 as a very young but capable and team that's hoping for a bright future. And they got a huge recruiting class coming in as well.
Yeah, one of the best recruiting classes in the history of BYU, and that's in Amber Whiting's first year. Not to mention she's got her daughter, who's an outstanding guard. She's going to be coming back from that ACL tear, but looking forward to seeing what she can do as well.
Nani Falatea soars in for the layup. And Falatea now with 12 points. But again, too little, too late. Lee Trong is fouled by Falatea with pressure in the full court. And Lee will head to the free throw line for 2. That's the 3rd personal on Falatea. Amber Whiting, you mentioned her daughter Amari, who again is coming off the torn ACL, but one of the highest recruits that BYU's ever picked up. She's a 4-star. And a lot of great memories for BYU in the West Coast Conference. We already mentioned it earlier in the broadcast. Sad to see this Gonzaga-BYU rivalry die within the confines of the WCC.
It's been so special, and BYU has absolutely raised the level of play in the WCC, and that goes for Gonzaga, pushing that matchup, right, that rivalry, but then other teams as well. As you mentioned, it comes down to recruiting, it comes down to matchups and trying to get more competitive. Teams like St. Mary's, Santa Clara, go down the list, right, Pepperdine, Pacific. They're recruiting differently to try to keep up with and match the personnel on Gonzaga and BYU, who have been so successful in the WCC.
The foul was called on Destiny Burton, who just checked into the game. And Lisa Fortier has in many ways emptied her bench. Lee Trong was the only usual player on the floor for Gonzaga, and frankly, that may just be to get her some more minutes coming off her own significant injury.
Right, and get her into a flow, right? She did mention to me, Lisa Fortier said, it's been about a flow for her, and try not to do too much to come back when you're back about, she's only in 4 or 5 games back after sitting out 3 months. But she couldn't do anything in a boot. It's not like she could ride a bike or she could go out and run and keep her endurance up. She could not do anything with that foot in a boot.
I thought that was a foul call, but it's a lane violation on Emma Calvert, so it wouldn't have counted anyway had Lauren Gustin made that free throw. 75-56. Lee Trong misses that three badly. Offensive rebound by Esther Little, but it's poked away by Amanda Barcelo. Steal by BYU. Skip pass from Mackie Williams to Falatea, and the three rattles down. Nani Falatea, 15 points. So an okay fourth quarter, but Falatea just make it 3 for 16 from the field. And a transition layup inside for Callie Stokes.
Gustin with 9 points, 9 rebounds as well. As you mentioned, Falatea, what she's been able to do.
Emma Calvert for 3. Calvert with 13 points. I'll tell you what, Calvert's had some foul trouble in this tournament. Kristen, I think she's been the best player for BYU in Las Vegas.
Consistently,
yes,
most likely. And I would say just her consistency in scoring the ball and shooting the ball. And she's done a really good job, I think, improving her defense at taking on roles where, like today, she needed to guard Ejim early and just using that length. And now she got into that foul trouble, as you mentioned. But Calvert, just a sophomore, 6'4". She's a local kid in Utah, went to Fremont High School out of far west Utah. And BYU, they need to rebuild as well, bring in some transfers. I mean, that recruiting class that we talked about, but they're going to have an uphill climb when they get into that Big 12 competition.
Well, Calvert, including the 13 today, for 17 in the win against USF on Saturday, a 7-point performance against Portland. She's averaging right around 13 points a game.
And she was shooting 64% from 3 coming in. Had made 9 of her last 14 coming into this game, while she's a perfect 1 for 1. So add that to the list. She's 10 for 15 in the last 5 games from 3-point.
Nani Falatea for BYU started 0 for 11, but has scored 11 points this quarter. 3 of 5 from the field. She remains perfect from the free throw line, 8 of 8. Calvert, near steal. Way out guarding Kaylee Trong, and that's a foul. That'll be her 4th personal. Double bonus for Gonzaga as Lee Trong sets up with 33.4 to play, and the Zags leading by 15. He makes the first.
Kaylee Trong was an all-WCC first-team pick a season ago. She's the top returning scorer from last season. With that 5th game in, an injury to her foot against Tennessee.
And there's a farewell sign for BYU in the West Coast Conference. Falatea, a little long. Gustin battling for the rebound. It'll stay with the Cougars. Gustin with 9 points and 9 rebounds. Barcelo to inbound. Go to Falatea on that curl. Scores off the glass. 79-64. BYU will maintain that pressure. And I can't imagine they will opt to foul here. Gonzaga fans rise to their feet in the Orleans Arena. Well-earned victory for the number 16 team in the country and heavy favorite as the number 1 seed in the WCC tournament as they advance through the bracket and await either number 2 seed Portland or number 6 seed Pacific. Final score 79-64. Here's our Hercules Tires strong move of the game. Hercules Tires ride on our strength in transition off of one of the 23 BYU turnovers. Trong, no-look pass to Yvonne Ejim.
And how about for Kaylin Trong, one of her 7 assists in this game. Get the ball where it needs to be. The facilitator, distributor, those 2 players were absolutely fantastic. Dynamic duo. There you see Kaylin Trong.
Well, that's the beauty of this bracket as it's designed by the West Coast Conference. If you finish in 1st or 2nd place, you have a long bye, a long rest, And if you can work through any of that rust, massive advantage. One game and you're in the championship.
We didn't see a lot of rust today from this Gonzaga team as they were fully well prepared to come out and dominate the game in several areas.
Yvonne Ejim joins us on headset.
Hello.
After Gonzaga wins by 15. You sound excited, Yvonne, and you should.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
You played very well. 21 points, 11 rebounds, and to your credit, Lauren Gustin's a great player, but in the last 2 games against her, you've had the upper hand. What's been the difference?
Just making sure to stay disciplined around here. Like, as you said, she's such a great player, so it takes a lot of effort and a lot of work to continue to battle with her down low. But honestly, like, just being able to bring energy into the defense against her is really, like, what has kept me, like, being able to defend her so well.
Yvonne, your team is so disciplined, and I know with Lisa Fortier, it starts at the top on down, from the coaching staff to you guys, and what plan they put in place. How did you feel you guys executed on the defensive side of the ball as well as offensively today?
I feel like at the get-go, like, we told ourselves, like, we need to bring energy. We need to come out, like, strong. And I feel like that energy really, like, soaked into our offense and our defense. When we're pushing the ball, when we're getting stops, getting deflections, like, that's our energy that's coming into our offense and defense. That's really propelling us through the game.
Oh, Yvonne, I know I don't need to tell you because your coaches are going to remind you. You can enjoy this for about 30 minutes.
I know, right?
And then you watch Pacific in Portland. How do you maintain this type of energy, not knowing exactly who you're going to play in tomorrow's championship game yet?
I feel like it just comes down to knowing what we can do against any opponent. Like, we really just have to play our game. So as long as we maintain that and have the right mindset coming into any team that we verse tomorrow, like, I feel like that's really going to be something that keeps us going tomorrow.
Correct. Congratulations to you and your team once again on a great performance today. Good luck tomorrow on Championship Tuesday.
Thank you guys so much. I
Awesome
appreciate
job.
it.
You got it. Yvonne Ejim, class act, fantastic personality. And you can see why her teammates enjoy her so much. She's got so much great energy and such a great vibe around her.
Yeah, I just love how she came out and influenced the game in every single area, and it was a balanced attack from this Gonzaga team. Boy, are they loaded. They're going to be tough tomorrow for any of these teams coming up in the championship game tomorrow.
Final score, Gonzaga 79, BYU 64. The Zags on to Championship Tuesday. Stay tuned for the West Coast Conference Tournament Update Show. Jerem Jordan and Tyler Haas get you set for Pacific in Portland. For Kristen Kozlowski and every member of our crew, I'm Spencer Linton saying goodbye from courtside.